Hello! This video will be a rapid-fire summarization of all currently available job changes denoted as of the September 17th live letter in Final Fantasy XIV, as well as observations and speculations of additional changes as noted through the job action video also released. Confirmed changes will be sourced from the Nova Crystallis Twitter page, which has recorded all of the changes stated in the live letter, which does include some additional changes that were not printed on the class change slides. Information on Reaper and Sage will not be covered in this video. General changes. Melee classes with ranged weapon skills will find that those GCDs no longer interrupt their combos and rotations. Most 90 seconds, as well as more unusual buff abilities, have been adjusted to 60 seconds to better align with buff windows. Classes that have self-buffs built into their rotation will now receive those buffs when performing their AoE rotation. Damage parity and adjustments will be made across the board to balance physical versus magic damage on weapons. General information for tanks. Players will be more greatly rewarded for optimizing their mitigations. In addition, the range of gap closes for tanks have been globally increased to 20 yalms from 15. Paladin. Requiescat applies all of its bonuses irrespective of the remaining MP. Casting Confiteor will also enable an additional 3 GCD combo. Speculations. Paladin demonstrates a new mitigation particle. As it consumes 50 oath gauge, I am expecting that it may be an action upgrade of the currently existing Sheltron. Warrior. Onslaught and Upheaval no longer drain the beast gauge, and in addition, Onslaught will now have 3 charges. Inner Release also now grants a new action when activated. Speculations. Inner Release has either had its duration reduced or has added a hard cap of only 3 beast gauge GCDs during its window. It's possible that the new Inner Release action may only be usable at the end of this duration. Warrior appears to have received a new GCD offensive action that looks like an AoE and does not interact with the beast gauge, as well as a new buff which looks like it might be a mitigation. Dark Knight. Salted Earth is no longer ground targeted and instead drops the AoE under your feet. Your Simulacrum has gained a new action, and a new targeted mitigation action has been added. Gunbreaker. The Gnashing Fang combo is now mapped to one button, with the appropriate action changing on the hotbar as you go through the combo. Additionally, a continuation action following Burst Strike will be added. The maximum number of cartridges have been increased to 3. Speculations. A new Gunbreaker action has been added which looks like an AoE. In the demonstration video, 2 cartridges were used, but it remains to be seen if this is a 2-cost action, or if it's instead an action that consumes all cartridges and does scaling damage based on how many is consumed. General changes, melee DPS. Feint will now mitigate magic damage, but to a lesser degree than the currently existing physical damage mitigation. Dragoon. An additional area of effect combo action has been added, and while not mentioned, Sonic Thrust does now appear to apply the Disembowel buff. Additionally, you gain new gauge charges upon completing your weapon skill combo, and you can consume 2 of them to do what appears to be a new line AoE. Spine Shatter Dive now has 2 charges, and Lance Charge's recast time is now 60 seconds. Dragoon also has visual upgrades for Chaos Thrust and Full Thrust. Monk. Chakras will be unlocked at a lower level. Executing certain weapon skills under perfect balance will enable a Masterful Blitz, whose effect depends on the weapon skill combination used. The Masterful Blitz can also grant a Yin-Yang Chakra, or consume both of them if they are both active. Perfect Balance is now split into 2 charges, and while not directly stated, each charge only lasts for 3 actions instead of the current 6 of Shadowbringers. True Strike and Twin Snakes are no longer positionals. Shoulder Tackle will be replaced with a new damageless gap closer that has 3 charges and can be used on both enemies and allies. Speculations and observations. The seals granted by weapon skills during Perfect Balance appear to correspond to the respective monk stance you would use them in. The Yang finisher is granted if you gain 3 identical seals and gives access to what looks like Elixir Field. Elixir Field may have been shifted to function only as a Masterful Blitz. Samurai. A new, even more flashy finisher than Iai Jutsu and Tsubame Gaishi has been added. Meikyo Shisui and Tsubame Gaishi now have 2 charges. Meikyo Shisui enables third-part combo actions to grant second-part combo bonuses. Speculations and video observations. A new AoE GCD has been added which grants the 3rd Sen that was originally absent in the AoE weapon skill set. Tsubame Gaishi no longer appears to grant meditation stacks towards Shoha, but the new finisher does. Successfully blocking an ability while under the effect of Third Eye grants 10 Kenki. The new finisher is a weapon skill, and thus can be boosted with the effects of Kaiten. Ninja. Actions linked to Raiton, Doton, and Huton have been added. An action which applies Huton has been added. Shadowfang has been removed. Speculation. Hake Mujinsatsu, while in the area of Doton, appears to apply a new ground particle, perhaps alluding to the new ninja actions. The new action provided by Bunshin looks to be a finisher which consumes the rest of the Bunshin timer. Raiton appears to enable a new combo sequence which includes a gap closer. General changes: range physical DPS. Range physical's roll action mitigation spells have had their cooldowns reduced to 90 seconds. Bard. Each song will enable a new action that applies a party-wide buff. A new action can be performed following Apex Arrow. Wanderer's Minuet and Battle Voice's cooldown have been adjusted to 120 seconds. Mage's Ballad and Army's Paeon were not stated to have been changed, so their cooldown is still likely 80 seconds. Speculation. Bard was shown casting a new AoE conal skill. I think this is likely a visual upgrade of Quick Knock. Machinist. A new action called Chainsaw is added, as well as an action for the Automaton Queen. Reassemble now has 2 charges. Speculation. The job action video demoed a new animation for a conal AoE. I think this is likely a visual upgrade of Spreadshot. Dancer. Weapon skills which grant new attacks are now shared across single target and AoE skills. Technical Finish, Improvisation, and Devilment will now enable new actions. Button switching for dance steps will be simplified. Personal dancer actions are now guaranteed to generate a sprig. Speculations and observations. Dancer has a new action which immediately applies a standard step buff. The attack with the blue feathers and the flying bird appears to be the technical step follow-up, and the red lion attack appears to be the follow-up for Devilment. Improvisation no longer appears to build a sprig. General. Caster DPS. Adel now mitigates physical damage, but to a lesser degree than its magical counterpart. Similar, but opposite in effect to Feint. Black Mage. Nokian is now a trait which automatically applies while under Astral Fire or Umbral Ice. Under certain conditions, swapping between Astral Fire and Umbral Ice will enable new actions. Proc durations for Firestarter and Thunder have been extended, and Sharpcast now has an additional charge. Fire 2 and Blizzard 2 will have a step added to it, changing the Black Mage's AoE rotation. Observations and speculation. The prerequisite for gaining the new Fire/Ice mixed ability is most likely switching to Astral Fire while at full MP under Umbral Ice, and switching to Umbral Ice while having 0 mana under Astral Fire. Freeze no longer extends the Umbral Ice timer to 15 seconds, and instead grants 3 Umbral Hearts instead of 1. Foul is now instant cast. Red Mage. A follow-up to Scorch has been added. Verflare, Verholy, and Scorch are now AoE actions. A new defensive Red Mage ability called Magic Barrier has been added. Manification has been adjusted. Displacement and Engagement now have the same potency. Embolden and Manification have had their cooldown swapped, Embolden now at 120 and Manification at 110. Speculation and observations. An additional gauge has been added to Red Mage with 3 charges, which accumulates when executing Enchanted Moulinet and the Enchanted Riposte combo. 3 charges are consumed to execute Red Mage's finishers. A new finisher has been added, which looks like it may be an AoE, but might also just be a single big blast. Summoner has been completely overhauled. All dots have been removed. Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan can be summoned via jewels after summoning Bahamut. Ifrit has slow, powerful casts and a charge in action. Titan has instant cast abilities, and Garuda has placement-based abilities. General information for healers. New single-target buffs have been added for each healer. The GCD cast time of healers has been globally adjusted to 1.5 seconds, making every caster Astrologian. The limit break area of effect has been expanded to prevent the chance of healer LB not hitting everyone. Every healer appears to have had their hard cast GCD visually updated. Their dot animation remains the same. White Mage. A new restorative field action will be added. A holy upgrade will be added. Fluid Aura has been removed. Divine Benison now has charges. Observations. The ground-planted healing lily appears to heal whenever it is struck by an enemy AoE or the white mage is upgraded wholly. Scholar. Astrologian. Sects have been removed, and Astrologian's aspected spells will have diurnal sex properties. Neutral Sect will still add shields to actions. Divination's effects have been modified and no longer use seals. Redraw no longer has charges, and instead can be used once each time you draw. Minor Arcana now behaves differently, providing some AoE benefit to all party members. An area of effect spell has been added, which both heals and deals damage. Speculation. Astrologian has what appears to be a new visual upgrade for their AoE GCD. Scholar, for real this time. A new job action has been added, which enhances the party's movement speed during combat while also mitigating damage. Other observations. Fey Blessing no longer consumes the fairy gauge. And a new particle has been added for Art of War. That'll be all for this video. Information on Reaper and Sage may be covered at a later date. Thanks for watching and take care.